Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. How are you doing? Doing just great myself. Thank you for asking. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. So many things to get into. Another day, another opportunity to talk about it. So let's swing straight into it. First and foremost, the Roosevelt community in the Tri-Cities area gathered en masse on Friday, all to bid farewell to their historic school. And what an event it was, by the way. It was part of their Roosevelt Carnival, and it had a special event that was happening before then called Honoring Roosevelt. It took place to commemorate 104 years of school history, school community. They heard some stories and memories from teachers from the past and the present, just talking about things that they've experienced, long-time administrative workers sharing their stories also, and taking a look back at the school's history across generations.
We know there are a lot of emotions in this room and differing experiences with Roosevelt, the Roosevelt community, and we hope that we can bring a smile to your face as we reflect on the love and the learning that we have shared together over the many years.
Yes, and obviously it was a very tough and emotional time for the Roosevelt community, aka the Husky Pack. But although it was kind of a down moment, like we said, we were celebrating the history and the community and the love that happened there. And it was a beam of positive energy that happened that was nurtured by some rock star teachers and Elise Anardi and Christy Law.
We know there are a lot of emotions in this room and differing experiences with Roosevelt, the Roosevelt community, and we hope that we can bring a smile to your face as we reflect on the love and the learning that we have shared together over the many years.
Yes, and the students also got involved too, and they had a little bit of help from the people that came before them.
As a Husky, I pledge to show pride in all that I say, think, and do, as I'm displaying accountability as a great Husky in my community that models kindness. I am proud to be part of the Husky Pack.
I love that. That's the Husky players that you just heard there, and that was the theme of the night. Essentially, it was talking about community, a sense of family that was all built within that Roosevelt community, aka the Husky Pack, as we like to say. And as it was told by first grade teacher and Roosevelt alum Taylor Carroll.
My experience as a student there was the first time I ever considered becoming a teacher. Being surrounded by such a passionate and inclusive group of teachers and staff made me feel so loved, and I knew I wanted to do that for kids when I grew up. The teachers and staff at this school care so deeply for each and every student who walks through those front doors. It's impossible not to feel welcomed and loved by every person you see in the hallways. We are more than just a group of teachers. We are a family. I got the unique opportunity to feel the true power of the Husky Pack last year when I was diagnosed with cancer. That kind of news truly shakes you, and I'm not exaggerating when I say my Husky Pack scooped me up into their arms and did everything they could to make that experience as easy as possible for me. From making sub-plans, to making sure I could make it to doctor's appointments, to planning fun outings to take my minds off things. I know I'm not the only teacher, student, or community member who has felt the love of the Husky Pack.
Yes, and finally they kind of came to things, wrapping it up with a farewell and also some very inspiring music that was performed from all of Roosevelt Huskies today. That's so cute. That was the entire Husky Pack. I don't know if you hear the lyrics, but they were singing Count on Me by Bruno Mars, and a very fitting tribute indeed. So our hearts go out to the Roosevelt community, the Husky Pack, as they had to bid farewell to their historic school. But you can find out more and check that entire Honoring Roosevelt event out on our website on demand on civiccentertv.com. And of course, we are on Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, and YouTube, Civic Center TV also, so you can get caught up with that information as well. 3 West Bloomfield teachers were honored by Oakland County recently at their annual Outstanding Teacher Award. And it was actually a few notable names that you may have heard of that were recognized. Betty from West Bloomfield High School was honored. Jacqueline Tomaszewski from West Bloomfield Middle School, apologize if I said that name wrong, and Christy Law also from Roosevelt Elementary. All were honored by Oakland County at their Outstanding Teacher of the Year Awards. We want to clap it up for our teachers also. They did great things there, and they were also it was well-deserved also. It was awarded for their excellence in promoting academics in supportive classrooms. So we want to say congratulations to them. And also, you can take your time out to congratulate them also. Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. You can check out some of the honorees that were there. Speaking of West Bloomfield Schools, West Bloomfield School bus drivers got into a little bit of a friendly competition last week, and it was looking to bring home some accolades from Oakland County also. It was an event called the Oakland County Rodeo. Get it? Rodeo? Okay, whatever. So anyway, it was they were testing their skills behind the wheel. As soon as I found out about this event, I said, this sounds pretty fun. Like the Olympics of bus drivers, if you want to say. And few people that actually placed, as a matter of fact, Jessica Garcia got 4th place as an individual. And even Team WB West Bloomfield came in 3rd place amongst all the other participating school districts. Congratulations, Team WB and Jessica Garcia, bringing home the hardware and being acknowledged for those skills. Some of the challenges that they faced during this, just to kind of paint that picture, of course, test driving abilities. They were also tested on their knowledge for traffic laws and handling of the different variables, distractions that bus drivers have to encounter and deal with on a daily basis. Trust and believe, it's not an easy job just driving. So you can learn more and even see some of the photos from the event on Facebook, of course. That's the West Bloomfield School District Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. So you can take that out yourself also. If you're looking for a reason to get out, enjoy the nice weather that we have been having, I guess you can say, on a consistent basis now. You can meet some of your neighbors with a friendly competition also. Wednesday at the Sylvan Lake Community Center is the Sylvan Lake Game Night. On Wednesday, couple different things they have going on. Mahjong, they have their euchre tournament beginning at 6:30 p.m. And they also have other card games. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I have no idea what those other games are. Keep it at Goldfish and I Declare War for me, and we got a game right there. But other than that, great time for you to get out of the house, outside, and literally meet your neighbors and have a good competition, competitive night, I should say. These game nights happen all throughout the month on Wednesday nights all year round, just to put that out there. You can learn more on sylvanlake.org and sign up by contacting Amy Decatur at olivejuice@gmail.com. That's OLUVE juice@gmail.com. So you can go ahead and get some more information from Amy right there. Ever a fun, fresh way to shave at the Razor Company, a local small business in Sylvan Lake, is helping a common chore turn into something a little bit more relaxing. Trust me, as someone who shaves, I completely understand it. Restoring the lost art of self-care. And the Splash Live's very own reporter, Jake Schaff, has more.
Shaving is something that not a lot of people enjoy doing and that people mostly see as nothing more than just a chore. But here at the Razor Company, they offer several high-quality materials and items to help take care of your facial hair and to make shaving not something that you have to do, but something that you get to do.
The Razor Company was started by Jason Regal on a quest to get a better shave. We've been in business for 8 years. He rediscovered traditional shaving and found that most of the world still shaves like this today.
What kind of materials do you have to offer?
Shaving and grooming is our primary focus here at the Razor Company. We have double-edged safety razors, single-edged safety razors, straight razors, brushes, bowls, soaps, creams, aftershaves, everything for a wonderful shave. There are 3 main benefits for traditional shaving. There is you reduce irritation, you reduce cost, as well as save the planet. So 25% of men who shave have neck irritation, and the supplies here, shaving cream, soaps, and aftershaves will help with that, as well as the razor that you use and the blade. And then cartridge razors are very expensive, and they live in the landfill. They just stay there and don't break down. So that's not really good for the planet. We take pride in our planet and are a Gillette Certified Recycle plate station for you to bring your cartridge razors and razor blades for recycling. The materials we do have here are recyclable. They can be obviously broken down over time.
Why is self-care so important?
So self-care is important for everyone, not just ladies. I believe men also do benefit from self-care. The repetition of shaving, as well as the materials used to help get a better shave. You smell better, you feel better, and you look better. We hope our customers enjoy visiting the shop, as well as interacting with other people in the community. The environmental impact is obviously important, but what's more important is how you feel after you're done shaving and learning different ways to do so.
From soaps to creams to razors galore, there is so much to be seen here at the Razor Company. Make sure you stop by next time you're in Sylvan Lake, and to help turn shaving from a chore to something much more enjoyable. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Great story, Jake, by the way. As someone, like I said, who's familiar with shaving and things like that, I completely understand. I get neck irritation, so it's good that we get more information about that, because I tell you, in my past, I was traumatized from aftershave after Kevin from Home Alone put it on and started screaming. Never wanted it, but something to revisit. So if you want to get more information about razors and shaving and things of that nature right here in our local community, you can visit them on Facebook at The Razor Company, or visit them straight on their website, therazorcompany.com also. Since we are slowly getting into consistent great weather, sunshine, and hot temperatures, it's time to start talking about water parks and outside activities. And that's why we're going to talk a little bit about West Bloomfield opening up Lily Pad Springs, I should say, excuse me. And join us here on the Splash Live to talk about Lily Pad Springs from West Bloomfield Parks Recreation Commission. We have the Lily Pad Springs manager, Colin Johnson, right here on the Splash. So, Colin, the big day is finally here. Friday, May 24th is opening day. Lily Pad Springs. Can you give us some more information on opening day and overall what's happening this season at our local Splash Park?
Yeah, so I am one of the managers at Lily Pad Springs, and this summer we are opening Memorial Day weekend. We open on the 24th, and then we are open 7 days a week for the rest of the summer, closing on Labor Day.
Okay.
Like you said, we are the largest splash pad in Michigan, so there are many things to do for children of all ages.
Nice. Oh, that's going to be such a good time. We talking about good weather, going out there, letting the kids just splash around and do the types of things that they usually do at home, but with other kids in a big place where they can just, let all that energy out. I can definitely understand that. And like we said, largest splash pad in Michigan, a lot for the kids to do. We say covers 55,000 square feet, or 5,500 square feet, 50 play features, 4 water slides, 55-gallon splash bucket. It's a lot going on, and like you said, it's catering to all different types of children. So can you just talk about how they do cater to the children of all different ages at Lily Pad Springs, please?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, we do have 4 main slides, water slides for older children and even the younger children. We also do have a separate area to the side of our splash pad that is just little splashers and different features for littler toddlers and even babies. We also do offer special events and session times for children that might have special needs or older children that go to school during the day. On Mondays, we do our sensory friendly session. And so we turn off some of the bigger features to help with children who have sensory overload issues. And then on Tuesday nights, we are starting our twilight sessions. Those go from 6:30 to 8:30 at night, and they're perfect for kids if they do day camps or if they have school during the day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So you really are accommodating different children for different needs, different ages, and things of that nature. And that's a good thing. That's what we want to hear. That what ensures us within the community that we are doing the right thing, going to the right place. But speaking of that, we got to talk about safety, right? We're talking about water. We're talking about children. And there's a lot of different risks there. So how is WB Parks ensuring safety at Lily Pad Springs for our children in the community?
Yeah, so there are a lot of procedures and policies in place to make sure that our guests, not only the children, but the parents, the grandparents, the adults, anybody that comes to our facility, we do have staff trainings. We make sure that all of our staff is briefed on really any possible outcome that could happen at the splash pad. And we make sure that we go over scenarios and we have our emergency action plan in place where all the staff knows what to do in case of an emergency.
Okay, good. Once again, reassuring. Thank you so much for putting that out there and making sure that we are taking the proper steps to make sure everyone have a great, safe time also. Colin, this is something that we got to cover. It's something that seems obvious, but we can talk about a lot of things and then forget this, right? Is there a fee to enter Lily Pad Springs? Is it just free? Does it require registration? What are we talking about for us to enjoy this this venue?
Yeah, so our current rate right now starts at, for our residents, so if you are a resident of West Bloomfield, it is $4 per person. And if you are a non-resident, then it is $7 per person.
Okay.
You can come and buy tickets on site if you don't have anything going on for the day and you want to come hang out with us, you're more than welcome to come and buy tickets on site. But we also do offer pre-sale tickets. So if you know you want to come in advance, you can definitely buy those tickets online, and those discounts do apply online as well.
Nice, Colin. That's what's up. We love to hear discounts. I know I do. I like to save a couple dollars. Joining us right here on the Splash Live, telling us a little bit more about WB Parks opening up Lily Pad Springs just in time for Memorial Day weekend. We have Lily Pad Springs manager Colin Johnson joining us here to tell us a little bit more about everything that's going on with that. So with that being said, you're opening up at a time where, I'm going to be honest, Colin, Memorial Day weekend, I think we're probably expecting some good weather. It could get pretty crowded out there. What are we going to do in case of it gets overcrowded or crowded? How are we handling and managing the crowds at Lily Pad Springs in those cases?
Yeah, so we try to break up our day into sessions. And so they are 2-hour blocks. That is what you pay for. And so hopefully with the 3 or 4 different sessions that we offer during the day, people come and they spread out. However, we do have a capacity of 200 people. And we do make sure to put out signs at the front and, by the ticket booth to let customers know that we are sold out and that we are at capacity. And we also do have our weather hotline. That phone number is on our website. And if you call that, it will say if we're open or not.
Ah, okay. And that's a good point right there too, right? So with that being said, I will obviously assume, and I hate to assume, but I will obviously assume in case of thunder and lightning, obviously we are closed. But in case of light rain, are we still open? Are we still operating? And what conditions other than the storm will we possibly shut down, I should say? Or is it just rain or shine where they're minus the thunderstorms?
So we do have a couple different procedures in place for weather. And so If there is thunder or lightning, we do have to shut down for
Of
a
course.
minimum of 30 minutes every time we hear that thunder. However, we do offer rain passes. And so if your session does get cut short within that first hour, we do hand out little passes that you can come and join us again for free for that day. If it's light rain, that's kind of a play it by ear situation. If it's going to blow over, we make sure we watch the weather, and we want to make sure that safety is our number one priority. We don't want to put anybody at risk. And so that's kind of a play it by ear situation.
Of course.
We also do, what's it called? With the rain passes, in order to get one of those, you do need a wristband for that.
Okay. Great information. Thank you for letting us know. I would imagine, even if you are open during rain, probably there may be some people out there, but I imagine most people just want to go out there when it's clear, nice and sunny. But make sure you do contact that hotline if you are curious to whether or not they are open during whatever the case of weather. Random question, Colin, which I tend to do often here on The Splash. Now, let's say someone who likes me, who has a child inside of me. There's a kid inside of me who wants to enjoy stuff like this maybe. Is there a time that an adult can enjoy things like this at Lily Pad Springs? Or is there another park I can go to? Or is it just out of luck for adults like me trying to enjoy water parks like this?
No. We welcome everybody. And so everybody of all ages. We do have our later sessions. And so we do tend to see a lot of older kids and adults come to that 6:30 to 8:30 session just because it's after work, it's after school. But we also do see a lot of adults within our morning session at 11 a.m.
I thought that was going to be a weird question, but you made me feel so comfortable, Colin. Man, thank you. I thought that was going to be a definite no, but you helped straighten that. Okay, so that seems like a good time. Go out there with some adults. Listen, I got other ideas, man. We'll talk about that later, Colin, but that seems like a great time. Another thing real quick, if I'm not mistaken, you all do private rentals, group day camps, or things of that nature. Just talk about some of those private events, or how that operate, how that works, or any group events or things that you all do at that specific location. Talk about how that works.
Yeah, so we do host groups, field trips, and private party rentals. And so we do have a tented area with some picnic tables under it. And you have the option to either do a private party rental. So that takes place Friday through Sunday from 6:30 to 8:30, and you rent out the entire facility. And so the whole thing is yours and to your party. But something new we are trying this year is semi-private party rentals. So those are for West Bloomfield residents only. That party rental will be during a session time. So it is mixed with the public, but it is still a nice way to have a party, use those tables, eat, and enjoy your time with your friends and family.
Ooh, yeah, shutting down the park for me and my peoples right here, celebrating good time. That's good that you all have that option.
Yeah, and there is an application on our website. So if you are interested, just go to wbparks.org/lilypadsprings, and you can find that application on there.
Good. I got another question for you. Any feedback that you all have gotten back from the community over the years or just over time in regards to Lily Pad Springs that you have considered, you've actually put into effect, or anything of that nature? And how do you plan to address any concerns or suggestions also?
Yeah, so we welcome feedback. We want to make sure that when you come to Lily Pad Springs that you are having the best time and you are really enjoying your experience. And so we do ask customers, we welcome feedback. We also do have some QR codes around our facility that you can scan and give some feedback to us. This is my second summer at WB Parks, and compared to last year, we have changed a lot, especially the big one being these semi-private party rentals. We got a lot of feedback last summer about not having enough space for everybody to have a rental, and also a cheaper option. And if you didn't want to go to that later time, that 6:30 to 8:30, and so that's something big that we're implementing this year.
There you go. Listen to the people and apply. Give the people what they want, man. They're there to support. I love that. I love that. That's a great example of we hear you and we want to make adjustments to accommodate you. Hey, Colin, any last things, great information that we didn't cover that you want to let the community know before we let you go?
Yeah, just there is more information on our website. Like I said, wbparks.org/lilypadsprings. There you can find the dates to see when we are running certain sessions. You can see pricing, our frequently asked questions, and our park rules. Those are all good things to go over before you join us this summer. We are open 7 days a week. We are running 3 to 4 sessions a day, so we would love for you guys to come and share your summer with us.
I'm gonna have to find a reason to come out there too, man. Maybe even bring the Splash staff. Wouldn't that make sense? The Splash comes out there to Lily Pads. It's a whole nother topic and conversation. Colin Johnson, Lily Pad Springs manager, join us on the Splash Live to talk about the grand opening on May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. Thank you again for your time, Colin.
Thank you.
Yes, Colin, thank you so much for your time talking about Lily Pad Springs, everything that's going on there. I'm going to be honest, so happy to find out that they have time for adults. That seemed like that's going to be fun. Adults, we're going to have to put something together eventually, but you can find out more about what they have going on at Lily Pad Springs, wbparks.org. Or, of course, you can check them out on Facebook at WB Parks to get more information about our water parks locally. So, do you know the actual role and responsibilities of the West Bloomfield Township Clerk? I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm too privy of it myself, but what I do know is they handle public information and services, vital records management, licenses and permits, record keeping, and election administration. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are sliding into election season very, very soon. It's better to be proactive than reactive. So join us here on the Splash Live to give us all of that information that we need. Our West Bloomfield Township Clerk, Debbie Binder, joins the Splash Live. Thank you so much for your time, Debbie.
Good morning, Kevin. Nice to see you this morning.
Absolutely. Nice to see you, too. We appreciate it. So I want to kind of take my time real quick, if you don't mind. I want to get into this because I want to kind of speak from my perspective of my generation a little bit, too, but we also want to continue to educate people in all generations. So essentially, election season coming up, I want to talk about the absentee voter ballots or how that process works in general. I'm looking at something that says the permanent absentee ballot list versus the absentee voter application list. First and foremost, can you talk about the difference between these two?
Okay, so we have had for many years, the permanent absent voter application list, which meant that our voters received an application for every election that if they had signed up to be on that list, they received an application for every election they were eligible to vote in. And if they returned it, we sent them a ballot. Mm-hmm. Beginning after 2022, voters were able to sign up to be on the permanent absentee ballot list, which means they will receive a ballot for every election they're eligible to vote in. So that's a significant change. They don't have to fill out an application. That ballot will show up in the mail if they've requested to be on that list. Over the next, we don't know how long of a period of time, they will be phasing out that application list as more people do engage on that permanent ballot list. Right now, to give you an idea, we have about 13,000 voters on the permanent ballot list and almost an equal number on the permanent application list. But as we have more and more using that permanent ballot list, you're going to see that application list go away. One thing, though, that has changed also is voters are now able to vote that absentee ballot at their precinct on election day or at the early voting center, which is also new, that begins 9 days, essentially 9 days before an election. It actually begins the Saturday, the weekend prior, 2 weeks prior to the election, and continues through the Sunday before the election. So they have 9 days of early voting. They can either come vote early in the early voting center, or they may actually bring that absentee ballot that they've received and vote it in the the early voting center, or bring it to their precinct on election day. And another change, and I guess a reason that is a nice feature, right, is that if they make a mistake on their absentee ballot, they're able to, when they would feed it through the tabulator, it will actually catch the mistake and allow them to spoil that ballot and receive a new one. This August election is a good example. This is a primary election where people have to stay in one lane or down one side of the ballot along one party. People will tend to cross over into the other lane for a candidate, which would spoil their partisan section. However, if they actually vote that ballot in an early voting center or at a precinct, it will let them know that they voted over, that they've crossed lanes, and they'll get to vote a new ballot. Whereas if they turn it in as an absentee ballot, it would actually just have the partisan section not count.
Wow. Mouthful, but thank you for the information, Debbie. A lot to consume, but essentially I want to kind of recap that if I'm understanding this correct. So the permanent absentee ballot list is a list you can join, and once you join it, essentially you don't have to fill out an application. They're going to send you the absentee ballots automatically every election season. But the absentee voter application list is something that you would basically apply for or join so that you can get an application to get the absentee ballot. Is that correct?
You have it correct, but we do know that it was perfect. You really actually caught on beautifully.
Yeah.
But what we don't know is when they're going to phase out that application list. They don't have a timeline for that yet. So people will have to start watching when the election is as they phase out that application list, because that application kind of served as notice, and they won't get that application now unless they're on the permanent ballot list where they receive the ballot.
Wow. So if they did want to join the permanent absentee ballot list after that absentee voter application list was phased out, how would they do that? Is there any opportunity to? They go directly to West Bloomfield Township?
They do have to do it in writing. So on the application that everyone is getting that's currently on that permanent application list, there's a box to check to receive a ballot in the future. If they check that box, then they'll be moved over to the permanent ballot list. If they're not on that list already and they do wish to be on, they just need to request in my office in writing, or actually make it even easier. They can go online and request to be on the permanent ballot list, and there they will use the signature for their driver's license.
There you go. Yep. Okay, that's the information that I wanted
That's your generation's information we need to make sure they have.
That is true. I got to admit, yes, that is true. Join us here on the Splash Live, giving us all the information that we need right here in our community. West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder, just catching us up on early voting, absentee ballots, permanent absentee ballot lists, and things of that nature. Different changes going on. One thing I do want to pick your brain about, this is a little bit off the record, I guess you could say. I know that you manage the different licensing and permits here in the area. With the summertime coming and things of that nature, people who are interested in maybe hosting a block party or doing something where they would require a permit or some of that nature. Can you just explain that process, please?
Okay, there is a process if somebody is looking to receive what's called an outdoor gathering permit. But an outdoor gathering permit is if they know that they're going to have over 300 people within a 24-hour period. So if someone's having a small block party, there is likely not a need to get an outdoor gathering permit. And the other ones that would sometimes go along with that is a road closure permit. In a township, our roads are all owned by Oakland County. So in order to close any kind of a road, it has to go through Oakland County. And part of their application process requires a permit from the township board, where the township board says, we're okay with this or we aren't. And then the county makes their decision based on what the board also will state. But we don't have a lot of those. An example would be like our art fair, which is definitely a gathering with well over 300 people. They receive both an outdoor gathering permit and a road closure permit, and there's a whole process for that. When someone applies for those permits, we have to send that out to every department to do an inspection, receive it back in order to take it to the township board for approval. So anybody who is considering a large event, I think you need to allow at least 60 days, and 90 days is probably better.
Yeah. No,
so it's not something you can throw together last minute at all. It won't. It doesn't
I was
work.
just about to say that. Yeah. So that's probably larger scale type things, but still good information to know. Get out there, because trust me, I love a good block party in my community. Going out to meet people that you literally live with right there outside, and it's just a great time. So I completely understand that. You also spent time as an educator. So I want to
Yes,
kind of, with that being said, we are in the middle of graduation season and things of that nature. Let's just talk about that. This time of the year, as the year starts to wrap up and wind down, can we just speak about the mindset or just how it is as an educator, from an educator's perspective at this time of the year, from your perspective?
Well, it's an exciting time, and I can actually speak right now as a former educator and a parent of an 11th grader who is starting to consider his future, even though we're a year early. And I have an 11th grader that thinks he has to have the next 50 years figured out of his life. So, but it's an exciting time for these kids because, you have a lot of kids who've come through COVID and things have been very different for them. And, school has been either online or their social, I think that there's some social interaction that's missing right now that it's a little bit tougher to see this cohesive, collaborative effort toward graduation. Yet, kids are resilient, and I think that we're all learning how resilient they are, and they are looking ahead to bright futures, and they are exploring options that perhaps we didn't in the past. Some are options we didn't have, and some are options that perhaps that we didn't consider. And I think that they're looking at a lot more hands-on opportunities and a lot broader opportunities. My son's coming out of robotics and different hands-on experiences and looking at how he can be an engineer and do something hands-on. But I think we're encouraging a generation to go forward and to the best fit for them. And we're kind of focusing on finding your match, your best path, and looking forward to a future. I think that graduation is a good reminder that we need to focus on these kids, celebrate them, but get them ready to go off on that next step and take that, go on their next path.
100%. No, 100%. You hit the nail on the head, And I love that you said one of your sons in robotics, thinking about engineering. That was one of the things I wish I would have went into, but great time for that. I got a lot of friends who are engineers. And then the other son you said, who the 11th grader, feels like he has to plan the next 50. I was there too. I remember in middle school, I felt like, okay, after middle school is high school. Then after that, I'm grown. I got to find a wife, so I might as well pick a wife now. And I don't know why I was thinking about this at an early age, but it takes the parents, the teachers, the community, kind of bring that perspective, ground the students, let them know, yeah, we're graduating, you're going to that next level. These are some different things that you can think about, consider, et cetera, et cetera. So great work that you're doing as a parent and that you're doing for the community also, Debbie. One of the last things before we leave, we just had Michigan Week, the Michigan Week Awards, honoring local volunteers and things of that nature right here in the community. You were also part of that. Can you just talk about the experience of the Michigan Week Awards breakfast event in general, and just talk about the work of our local volunteers right here in the community and how valuable it is?
Well, I love our Michigan Week breakfast, and I've been on the committee since the day I became involved in local government. Which is a choice. It's not required in my position. It's a choice, but the choice was made because I think the mission is so important. We are the community. We are because of the volunteers that get involved and give their time, whether it's for the school district, our community organizations, our parks, our library, all of the different organizations that come together, including 7 school districts, to make this a community. So we're not little, and I think people often forget we're still a community of 67,000 residents. So how do you take 67,000 residents and make them feel like you have a smaller community? You get people involved. And how do you get people involved? You have different groups and organizations that either grab volunteers or sometimes you have to voluntold a little bit. But once you get people involved, you then recognize them for that commitment and that effort that they give to their community. And those Michigan Week Awards are an important time to say thank you and to recognize people that have gone above and beyond to make West Bloomfield, for a large community, feel a lot more like a small community. So I would encourage anyone looking for a meaningful organization to get involved in. It's a great one. The Michigan Week Committee, we have that breakfast is once a year, but it's an all year preparation. And the leaders of the group, Carol Hack, Pam Zajac, and Deb Macon, the day that Michigan Week breakfast is over, they are hard at work on next year's Michigan Week breakfast.
Oh, wow.
It's an all hands on deck effort to meet those deadlines.
That's good. That's good. And I couldn't have said it better. Like honoring the people that's taking time and coming out here and helping the community, whether they volunteer or they've been voluntold to get out there. I love that one, voluntold. We've been there before. I've been there before. But at the end of the day, you feel good because, like I said, you're doing something positive. More than likely, you're making an impact on the community that you can always look back on and say that you contributed to. So I completely get it. And I know it means a lot coming from our West Bloomfield Township clerk. Thank you again so much for your time. Actually, before we go, any additional words, messages for our residents here in the greater West Bloomfield community about operations, programs, services coming up?
I would say one thing to add back to elections, because it is a big year for elections.
Please.
If there's anything you have a question about, call your clerk's office. You can also get a lot of information at michigan.gov/vote. So either of those locations are great places to get accurate information. Don't rely on news you get on TikTok. Don't rely on news you get on Instagram or Facebook. Call your clerk's office. Check out michigan.gov/vote. And just, engage. This is the time. Have your voice heard. Get out and vote this year. You've got the August primary. You've got the November general election. This is your moment. Get out there and vote. So don't get fooled by misinformation. Get your accurate information from your clerk or the Secretary of State's website, please. Any questions? Call. If you get a piece of mail, even if it looks legit, and in many cases it is, it's just trying to get out the vote or get people registered, but it may be from a third-party organization. So if you get 3 different, forms, call the clerk's office. We only send out one. So, don't be fooled. But again, most of them are not of ill intent. They're just trying to get out the vote or get you registered. But we do get people turning them in duplicate, quadruplicate, and it's a lot of work. So, try to use the clerk's office form or call for clarification. Example, if you get a voter report card, that is a third-party organization sending out a voter report card, not your local clerk's office.
See, thank you for making that difference. This is why we let you get the last word and get those thoughts off, because I wouldn't have thought of that. Thank you so much again. Once again, you can call the clerk's office directly, 248-451-4848. Call them directly. Please don't go to TikTok for your information. This is not the time for that. Thank you again, West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder, for joining us on the Splash Live. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. You have a great day.
Yes, you too. Have a better one. We appreciate that. I'm so glad she said TikTok. I know too many people that rely on TikTok for information. So you can find out more, wbtownship.org, or, of course, on Facebook, West Bloomfield Clerk's Office, to find out more about that information. We like to keep things holistic, healthy, of the mind, the spirit, the soul, right? And that's why we like to keep us updated, keep our community updated on different types of medicine, and more specifically, aesthetics and functional and integrative medicine. Very, very interesting topic we're about to get into right here on the Splash Live. So join us right here from Grover Health and Wellness. Dr. Keshav Grover join us right here on the Splash Live. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Grover.
Absolutely. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. So we're talking about something that's a new approach, or a different approach to health and wellness, I guess we can say. But I want to kind of first start off just talking about how you feel Grover Health and Wellness integrates traditional medical care with holistic treatments to benefit your patients.
Sure. That's a great question. And so part of a big question we get asked a lot of times is, what is functional and integrative medicine? Mm-hmm. So functional medicine is figuring out the why something's happening. So in a traditional care model, if you go to your doctor and you have high blood pressure, for example, they'll probably talk to you a little bit about lifestyle alteration, maybe give you a nutrition packet to talk about like having less sodium in your diet, things like that. And then they may even introduce a medication to reduce your blood pressure. And typically speaking, in a traditional medical model, doctors typically don't have the time to sit down and really coach patients on a lifestyle alteration that can help actually lower their blood pressure, as an example. In functional medicine, we go a step further and we say, why is the blood pressure high? And we do a little bit more of investigation with blood work and other kind of testing to say, okay, how can we help this patient out? with that issue in terms of, is it their diet, is it their nutrition, is it their nervous system, their hormones? What is it that's going on that's creating that issue to be there? And then with integrative medicine, that is using the best combination of healing modalities that are available and also that are suitable for the patient, and the patient is willing to utilize to help themselves. So, for example, if a medication is part of that from a traditional perspective, then that would be integrated into the plan. If acupuncture and yoga can be part of that picture too, then that would be integrated in the plan amongst other interventions like nutrition, supplementation, herbs, mind-body medicine, and so forth. So the functional is really answering the question as to why something is occurring from a biochemical perspective, to say, okay, this is the reason why this is happening. And then the integrative perspective is coming up with the actual treatment approach, utilizing the information that we've gathered, as well as the history taking from the patient. Oftentimes, the patient will tell you what's going on with them.
Right.
You know, that was one of the biggest lessons I learned in medical school from some of the amazing mentors I had, was if you talk to a patient in a way that they feel open and can have a high level of trust with you, they will tell you exactly what is going on with their body and inside of themselves. And that's why we give our patients a 60 to 90 minute intake process in our office after doing a discovery call, to really see what is it that's going on. Let them kind of feel at home in our office. And that's why we've even designed our office to be kind of a much different clinic, because if you go to a general clinic, most of them feel a little bit sterile. They're a little bit more where the patient may be even in a gown, and they're a little bit kind of in a more exposed setting, versus here we kind of create more of a homey setting where, you know, we sit on chairs at eye to eye level. You know, I rarely wear a white coat because I know that sometimes can even be intimidating to patients. We want patients to feel like we understand where they're coming from, and that we want to be a fly on the wall in their life process. And that's kind of our approach.
Great answer. Great. And that kind of filled in a lot of boxes that I actually had to kind of follow up with that. So this is what I took from what you just explained, essentially, right? Our doctors in most traditional hospital institutions and things of that nature, they may, you know, diagnose a certain problem or a situation that we may be going through, and then they'll find a treatment for that possibly. But on your end, Grover Health and Wellness, you're essentially looking for the root of the problem and finding out how you can integrate different medical care procedures into it to kind of, I guess, make it a little bit better on a holistic approach. Is that correct, how I approach that?
I would say that's fair. And one thing that I also want to kind of like highlight is that doctors, wherever they are, whether they're in a employed setting in a hospital, in a private office, in a surgical setting, every doctor, I believe, or I would hope, wants the best for their patient and would want to figure out exactly what's going on with them and give them the best treatment. However, unfortunately, the insurance companies require doctors to typically see many patients to make to make money, essentially, to make a livelihood. That the amount of time that they have is actually spent more so being more concerned, did I document everything correctly, which is important. And then also, was everything coded to a way that the insurance company would then say, okay, we will pay for this care for the patient, and giving them the appropriate medication, the appropriate procedure that are required. And so there's so much backlog, I should say back office work that's required to actually provide the care. And so in our practice, we actually, you know, we are able to directly to treat our patients because we're not dependent upon the insurance company in that sense. And so that's one of the beauties of our practice, is that it's just about the patient and us. And that's the relationship that really should be there. I think that a lot of times the care that's delivered by doctors is dictated by entities above, that is not really where in the patient's best interest all the time.
And I get it. And, so go ahead.
And I would say that we are very holistic in our approach. And I'm glad you did address the aesthetics part of things in the beginning, because our mission and our practice is to help patients feel and look their best.
Yes.
And we really do believe that your inner well-being and your outer self should be as in sync as possible. And so we're here to help that process out.
Yeah, we talk about that a little bit more often too, especially with May being Mental Health Awareness Month. Definitely connecting the body, the mind, the spirit, all of that intertwined, and making sure your space, your energy is in the right place. Completely understand. Join us right now from Grover Health and Wellness, Dr. Keshav Grover, talking about aesthetics and functional and integrative medicine, and specifically how it's beneficial and different from traditional medical care, we should say. So, a couple quick questions for you before we got to let you go. Honestly, real quick, can you just explain the process of this individual care and this personalized treatment plan for your patients? You kind of, like you said, you're essentially going in and finding the root of whatever kind of issue that they're experiencing. Talk about going through the process of finding that root and treating that root personally.
Sure. So part of that is that we do have a few different questionnaires that patients have to fill out for us. Mm-hmm. They give us information about their medical history, their family history, things like where they work, their toxic exposures. And then also we want to know even their prenatal history in terms of what happened before they were born, because then that gives us a real idea of what their body and mind and spirit has experienced from the point of their conception till the point of where they present to our office. We want that whole picture kind of drawn out. And that's why we do that hour to hour and a half. Sometimes it goes more than that, intake a visit. Then we consolidate all that information and say, okay, we rank what are the priority goals for our patients, and then say, okay, these are the steps that we need to take to order specific testing, whether that's blood work or imaging, or even stool testing, saliva testing, hair testing. I mean, you name it, we can test it in terms of from part of the body. Nice. And so then we take all that information, we get some more tests, and then even just based upon their history, and sometimes they're even bringing us lab work and other information because they've done the rounds. They've gone to see their primary care. They've gone to see this specialist, that specialist. They've had a surgery potentially. They've had another procedure done. So they're bringing sometimes a binder full of paperwork for us to even go through. So then we can start to put together and audit supplements that they may already be on to kind of help consolidate that process, recommend mind-body interventions, whether that's even something as simple as gratitude journaling. There's a few different breath works that we recommend as well too for our patients, yoga if applicable. And then we also emphasize their activity as well. If they're able to do things like resistance training, walking every day, making sure that they're hydrating, making sure that they're really optimizing their sleep, because that's another part of the picture that is oftentimes overlooked. And then emphasizing community, emphasizing also doing their inner work on a daily basis, and making their goals a little bit smaller so that it's not this huge task of, oh my gosh, I have to change my whole life.
Right.
But what
more
is
obtainable
we can work on in like the next 2 weeks or the next 4 weeks, and then create that timeline for that patient. And all of our plans are so specific to that patient that it's not that we have like a Grover protocol where it's just that every patient goes through the same kind of system, because that's kind of more of what the insurance world likes to do in terms of puts everybody into the same system. And, you may get it right, you may not get it right with that approach. So with our approach, we really want to make sure that we're catering our plans to our patients. And that's why we do that timeline. It's almost like if you were to get a custom suit made for yourself, or a shirt, or whatever garment you would like, the tailor would take their time to make sure their measurements are to you and your body, and not just a general off rack kind of garment that you would wear. So, and that's the way we create our plans for it.
No, good point. Good point. I appreciate that perspective on that. And lastly, before we go, Dr. Grover, for the person that's listening right now, Kegel Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, listening and wondering, why Why choose Grover Health and Wellness? Specifically to the West Bloomfield community, why should they choose Grover Health and Wellness, or why is it important?
Well, we have one life to live, and we have one opportunity to do that every day. And I have gone through my own health and wellness transformation, and I get the challenges that people have. Our team understands it. We aren't here to just prescribe a certain lifestyle. We're here to partner with you. We're here to walk you through each step of the way to make sure that you're getting towards your well-being goal. And the one differentiating factor in our practice is that we are able to help that process begin as soon as the patient makes that phone call, where we're beginning that process to get them on their road to well-being. And versus in some other practices, a lot of times they'll just leave with a huge bag of supplements and not a lot of direction. Or they'll be very much so pigeonholed into one or two areas of well-being, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, we are looking at things much more 360 globally, and also not just what's going to make you get like summer body ready. We want you to think about your long-term journey, your longevity, in terms of, are you going to be able to, let's say, walk down the aisle with your daughter if you're a father? Are you going to be able to play with your grandchildren if you're a grandmother or a grandfather? If you want to be playing pickleball, I know West Bloomfield is working on some new pickleball courts too. In terms of if you want to be out there hitting that pickleball, how are you going to keep on doing that? Are you going to be able to pick up a suitcase and put it above your seat in the plane? These are all the things that we want our patients to be able to do. It's not just about, oh, we fixed your cholesterol, or we reduced this level from here to here, or we got you down from this weight to that weight. Those are also very important, but our larger perspective is, are we enabling our patients? Are we providing them the resources and tools to achieve all of their longevity goals? And that's why I think patients should choose our practice for their health and wellness. And also, I'm very honest, if there's another practice that we think is better for a patient based upon the issues that are coming to us, that I will recommend them to go there, and so will our teammate members, because we want what's in the best interest of our patients or any individual for that matter.
Well said, doctor, and I'm glad I gave you the opportunity to explain that to the greater West Bloomfield community of why they should pay you a visit. Once again, joining us from Grover Health and Wellness, Dr. Keshav Grover. Thank you so much for your time right here on the Splash Live. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's exactly what we are here for, to provide that type of information to our community so that we can all get that more information that we need. So we do have other things to keep you updated about right here in the community, specifically Oakland County. As a matter of fact, Oakland County is starting to offer free transportation to our local veterans this summer, starting June 1st through August 31st. That's literally the whole summer. Free transportation for our veterans. You can't ask for anything better. It is specifically within Oakland County. Absolutely free ride. It only works weekdays, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Great time frame if you ask me also. There are a few stipulations. You do have to call and schedule a ride in advance, at least 72 hours in advance. So make sure you call the number. If you do have a pen and pad ready, just write this down, 248-419-7984. We will have that information also on civiccentertv.com, so pay that a visit. Even if you aren't a veteran, you know someone who is a veteran, pass that information forward. I'm guaranteeing it will be helpful. You can find out more on the Facebook page of the Oakland County Executive's Office, also at Facebook, or I should say Facebook at oakgov.eo. Give them a visit. We have so much more to keep you in store, keep you updated and educated on in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield. That is our job right here on the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.